Okay. So in the last class, we have seen about the personal software process. So how individual centric software process will evolve. Okay. So today we are going to see about the team software process. So as the name defines, so team is nothing but it is going to be a group of fellows. Okay. So it is very similar to your project team. Okay, so where so in the personal software process, we were considering about the each and every individual's flexibility. So how a person, for example, so how a person X will work. So he may work in the nights, or he may want to work in the morning hours, early morning hours. So it is based on that particular individual. Okay, so that is personal software process. But here, so it is like a team of people. So we will come to a conclusion. Okay, so based on the several characters in a team, so we will come up with a process so which can be followed so that we can achieve our target. Okay, so that is how a team software process works. So goal is to build a self-directed project team that organizes itself to produce high quality software. Okay, so the same thing. So even for when you are supposed to design your team members, so this is the aspect which we insisted you to take over. Okay, so these teams are self-directed. So self-directed in the sense, so there is no external influence. So this team is formed. Okay, so and the promising outcome of the team should be achieved by the team members itself. There is no external influence. Okay, so Humphrey defines the following objectives for the team software process. So build a self-directed team that plan and track their work, establish their goals, and own their process and plans. So this is what we have already discussed. So if you say for this team software process, you can consider your own project as an example. Okay, so you have actually a self-directed team has been formed by you or your friends. Okay, so you have formed a team. So each team will have a plan towards what they have to do. Okay, so and they should have a track of their work progress. So the team should have a clear-cut track about their progress, whether they are progressing good or they are progressing bad. Okay, so it is so forget about your project, literally what project you will do. So you will give your names. So maybe before the project review dates, so you will prepare some contents. So cut and copy from some sources, and you will have your project meet. Okay, so I'm not discussing about that aspect. So if you are really doing a project, so at that time, so this is how you will do. So you will speak with your team members. So every day you will have a track of what you are doing. So all these things you will have a clear track. Okay, so that is how. So as I told you, first before starting the project, probably you might have a clear plan. Any doubts, guys? Any doubts? I think some of you are in. Okay, if there are no doubts, please mute yourself. Satvika. Okay. Okay, fine. Uh, okay, so that is how it works. Okay, so you will establish your goals. Any doubts? Okay, fine. So okay, so you will establish your goal and own their progresses and plans. Okay, so that point is clear. So show managers how to coach and motivate their team and how to help them sustain peak performance. So this is very important, because when you say, okay, so for example, so let us assume that I am going to be the team lead for your project. Okay, so I'm going to be the like a manager, you can assume. Okay, so what I have to do, so if I say, okay, so your project is very bad, the worst project I have seen in my lifetime is your project. If I say,
నాకు డబ్బులు ఇవ్వట్లేదు ఈ మధ్య నువ్వు ఎందుకు ఇవ్వవు 1000 ఆహా కనీసం 500 ఇస్తాడు 500 అమ్మ 500 ఆ ఒక్క 500 ఇలా చూడు ఉందా ముట్టుకోక అలా ముట్టుకోక 500 ఒక్క 500 అది 500 కావాలి నీ డబ్బులు కావాలా నా డబ్బులు ఏంటి నీ డబ్బులు ఏం లేదు నా 500 ఇంకా టాప్ ఇచ్చే కదా 7000 ఇచ్చేయండి
Okay, so coming back, yeah, so assume that I am a manager for you. Okay, so at that time, so if I say, okay, so whatever project you are doing, so that is a worst project. So like that, if I say something like that, so you will not have a really a good mindset to work with. Okay, so in that context, what you will do? So literally, you will see. So what can be done? Or so if I say motivating words to you, so probably, for example, if I say, okay, so you have done a decent job, but we have some more refinements, so you take a break. Okay, so if I say the word you take a break, so obviously you will feel relaxed. Okay, so that is how a team should be developed. So the team manager should be having all the roles to decide so whether this particular team requires something or not. Okay, so all these things should be taken care by the team manager. So accelerate software process improvement by making CMM level 5 behavior normal and expected. Okay, so I think you may be knowing that. So provide improvement guidance to high maturity organizations. So this is what the outcome of your team software process. Okay, so facilitate university teaching of industrial grade team skills. So when you say it's going to be a team, so always we will say, okay, so there should be a quality team should be constructed. Okay, so that is why we specify here to be a university teaching of industrial grade team skills. Okay, so industrial grade team skills should be taught to the team members like an university level. Okay, so this TSP, that is a team software process, defines the following framework activities. So very similar to whatever we have seen in the personal software process, you have the set of definitions here also. So those were, so first you should launch high level design, implementation, integration and test, and then postmortem. The same thing. So whatever we have seen, but in a different keywords. Okay, so first you will launch it and then you will see the high level design. So high level design is nothing but like a bird's view. You will see the same aspect, and then you will have the implementation and then integration and testing and then postmortem. So postmortem is nothing but so where you will analyze, okay, so this is what happened and what are all the further improvements can be done at this stage. Okay, so that is done in the postmortem stage. Okay, so far we have seen so some of the aspects about the process, so how a process may be, and then individual centric process and then a team centric process. Okay, so all these things are fine. Okay, so okay, now we have a clear cut understanding about processes. Okay, so what are all the processes that is going to happen, and in each and every component we have seen. Okay, so this is a what is a software process and what is a process that is centric towards an individual. Okay, so how a development process will be done. So all these things we have seen. Okay, so now we are moving towards the process models. Okay, so as I have already told you, so regarding the process we have a clear cut understanding now. Okay, so now we are moving towards the process models. Okay, so what is the process model? So any guess? Any guess? Any volunteers? So what is a process model?
So that project planning, that chart was there, no, sir. Those are there, sir.
Okay, so
requirements management, measurement and analysis.
okay. Actually, the okay. So do you mean that?
Those are process areas, no, sir. Got
Yeah.
reminded.
Yes, yes, yes. Those are process areas. So it is a process model. So you, in general, forget about the process. So what is a model?
CMMI model. We can tell.
Okay, no, you forget about the CMMI also. Okay, so just tell me what is a model. Irrespective of the subject, forget about it. When you say a model, what is that?
Particular design of a product.
Design of a product. Okay. So, well,
So that we
okay.
can follow and proceed for workflow, like something like that.
Okay. 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 So I will tell you. Okay. So don't confuse with the keyword design. Okay. So because it is actually a phase in your development process. Okay. So forget about the design now. Okay. So when you say a model, so model represent, for example. Okay. So for example, if I say I'm going to build a house. Okay, so I'm going to build a house, maybe a bigger house. Okay, so at that time, so if I form a miniature, okay, so miniature of the real house which I'm going to build. Okay, so at that time I will say it to be a model for my big house. Okay, so your model will represent. So for example, in the model, what are all the things will be there? Okay, so outside my house will be something like this. Inside my house will be something like this. So all these things will be present in the model. Okay, so when you say that there is a model, so if you follow something, okay, so similar to this model, you will get a house like this. Okay, so that is what we will say it as a model. So here the miniature acts as a model for my original house. Okay, is that clear? So in general, this is what we will say a model. Okay, so for example, even you might have seen many advertisements like Lux or something. Okay, so you will see Aishwarya Rai as a model. So model represents if you use that particular soap or the beauty product or cosmetic product, so you will glow like Aishwarya Rai. Okay, so whether that statement is true or false, irrespective of that, we will say she is a model. Okay, so that is how a model should be. So now here, so process model. So is there any models available? So which can say that, okay, so if you follow this, probably you will end up in a solution like this. Okay, so that is what we are going to see here as process models. So there are some references, even you can say to be like a baseline process. Okay, or the references which we can follow. For example, okay, so let us come to a practical example for a process model. So every day you come to college by 8 a.m. Okay, so and you leave college by 5 p.m. So who has actually made this rules to be it should run from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So there is some model. Okay, so all the schools should be running from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. or all the universities should run from 8:30 to so even though that is a rule, but that rule has been formulated based on a model. Okay, so similar to that. So when you say you are going to develop a process or a software, so at that time, so what software process model can be involved in our case? Okay, so that is what we will going to see in this section. So process models. So we examine a number of prescriptive software process models. So what is prescriptive? Any idea about that keyword prescriptive? Any idea? No one?
Prescriptive in the sense suggest.
Yes, exactly. So suggest. So like a doctor gives you a prescription. Okay, so like that, it suggests something. So if you follow this, you will achieve these things. Okay, so here prescribes a set of process elements for each project. So when you say I'm going to develop a project, okay, so these are all the things you have to follow. Okay, or the process model will say, so these are all the things that has to be followed. Okay, so provided that if you are interested in following this model, so this is what you have to do. Okay, so that is why we say it to be a prescriptive type software process models. Okay, so this will have the framework, activities, software engineering actions, task, work product, quality assurance, and change control mechanisms. So all these things we have already seen with the example of the umbrella diagram. Okay, so each process model also prescribes a workflow that invoke each framework activity in a different manner. So whenever you say there is a software process model, so there are some set of actions. Okay, so these are all the phases. In each phase, these are all the tasks you have to do. So that will be in a workflow. Okay, so for example, you cannot actually change the order of these workflows. Okay, so each model will have their own style. So in which you have to you should use that model. Okay, so we will see in detail about the how they are called as prescriptive models by the following examples. Okay, so the first example is your waterfall model. So I believe you might have heard this waterfall model. So if not, no problem. Okay, so whatever you have seen in your lifetime, so all these process might have come through this waterfall model. Okay. Okay, so it's a classical life cycle model, and it is also called as classical life cycle. So waterfall model can be also referred as classical life cycle. Okay, so it's a systematic model, sequential approach to software development that begins with customer specification of requirements and progresses through planning, modeling, construction, and deployment, concluding in ongoing support of the completed software. Okay, so I will tell you. So okay, so by definition, this is the fact. I will tell you what exactly waterfall model is. So first, waterfall model can be adopted in a place where you have a clear cut or a well-defined problem statement. Okay, so or the requirements. If you have a well-defined requirement at this stage, you can go with waterfall model. For example, if you want to construct a house, okay, so usually this house construction is kind of waterfall model. Okay, assume that so you are going to build a house. Okay, so for that, first what you will do? First you will form a blueprint. Okay, so first you will design the blueprint. So I'm just talking about building a house. Okay, so forget about the colors and other aspects. Okay, so interior decorations, forget about that. First, the goal is to build a house. Okay, so before you build a house, first you will form a blueprint. Okay, so the blueprint is, once the blueprint is ready, so even you may say that okay, so it is like a design of your house. Okay, so once the blueprint is ready, so you will give that blueprint to an engineer. Okay, so that is actually the requirement. Well-defined requirement you have provided to the engineer in the form of a blueprint. Once the blueprint is given to the engineer, so the engineer will immediately start building the house that has been given in the blueprint. Okay, so that is actually the well-defined requirement. So the process starts when there is a well-defined requirement. So once the development process has been started by the engineer, civil engineer, so you cannot go to the engineer and you cannot say, okay, I don't want this wall. You just destroy this wall and you create a new wall. You cannot say that. Okay, so you understand what I mean? So that is how waterfall model works. So if there is a well-defined requirement, so like your blueprint, so once the blueprint is ready, so the team, the civil engineers and all the machinery works, they will start the process, they will build the house, and once the house is built, okay, so and then they will give it to you. At that time, you may ask for some changes. For example, if the tap is in the left side, you can ask the tap to be placed in the right side. Only that kind of modifications are possible. Okay, so you cannot say that my house is now north facing, you change the house entirely to the south facing house. You cannot say a statement like that. Okay, so similarly in the software development process also. Okay, so here if you have a well-defined requirement, so the development process will start and there is no way back. As I told you, you cannot come back to the earlier stage. For example, like a building house, so your civil engineer has constructed the ground floor and he has started developing the first floor. So can you ask the engineer to come to the ground floor again, and you should change one wall. Okay, so you cannot say that. Okay, you remove this wall in the right hand side, you cannot say that. Okay, so if you say that, the entire building will get collapsed. Similar situation in the waterfall model also, there is no way back. Okay, so and that is the reason. So this particular model, waterfall model, is called as evolutionary approach. Okay, so it is like a evolution. So it will get evolved. The process will evolve, and there is no way back. Okay, fine. So it is the oldest paradigms of software engineering, and sometimes it fails. Okay, so as I told you, so this particular model is an effective model provided that if you have a well-defined requirement. Okay, so if your requirements are not well defined, so probably you cannot have a well versed or a well built software. Okay, so the problems encounters are, so real projects rarely follow the sequential flow that the model proposes. So when it comes to the building construction, no problem. So you can see with your eyes. Okay, so you can easily track all the process. But when it comes to the software process, it is not so. Okay, so you are depending on so and so characters. Okay, so they will read through your requirement, and based on their understanding, they will do something. Okay, so that is actually a greater problem. So similarly, often difficult for the customer to state all the requirements explicitly. Okay, so this is one important aspect. So when you say a building construction, so your requirement is, it's going to be simple. So I need a house. Okay, so that is first point number one. So inside my house, I should have a 2 bedrooms. Okay, so that is point number 2. And then you will say there should be one kitchen, there should be one swimming pool. So all these things you can state. Okay, so these are all called like an requirement you can provide. Okay, so in specific, so will you say that, okay, so I want a house where the 2 BHK bedroom should be on the left corner side. It should have a balcony that is facing a sea. Okay, so explicitly you will not say all these requirements to a person who forms this blueprint. Okay, so similarly, like in the software construction process, so each and every point, okay, so even the color of your application, or maybe the background page or the background layout, so all these things you cannot expect the client to provide. Okay, so that is one problem. So, and also the problem here is, so this requirement should be given at the first stage. Okay, so that is a very big problem here. So if I want to develop a software, I have to give a well-defined software requirement. Okay, so when you use this waterfall model, okay, so when developing the requirement itself, so if I want to develop a well-defined requirement, probably that itself will take 6 months or maybe 1 year. Okay, so probably the students who have done the last semester cloud project might have encountered this problem. Okay, so if you want to make an software requirements in a well-defined fashion, it will take a lot of time. Okay, so that is one problem with this model. So customers must have patience. So really that is required. Okay, because so the cycle follows. Okay, you will see only the end product. So once you give the requirements, all you can see is only the end product when it comes to the reality. Okay, so in the middle you cannot see anything. So some project teams must wait for other team members to complete that dependent task. So that stage is called as blocking stages. Okay, so each and every team, so it is not like an independent team. If there is a dependent task, so as I told you, there is no way back. So they have to wait until that particular team completes their task, and then it gives to the other team. Okay, so as you can see, this is the flow. So the first phase should be the communication phase. So we have already seen, so where we will communicate with the client, and where this is the place where your requirements will get finalized or it gets refined. Okay, so and then you move to your planning phase. In the planning phase, you will be estimating, scheduling, and tracking the progress towards your project. Okay, so and then modeling. So modeling is actually is combined of 2 phases. One is analysis and the other one is design. So you will first analyze your plan. So whatever you have planned, based on that, you will propose a design in this phase. Okay, so that is called as modeling phase. And then the construction phase, that is nothing but your building phase or your deployment phase. Okay, so and then you go for your deployment. So deployment is nothing but, so your software is now ready. Okay, so now you are going to give it to the client or the customer, and then you will see, okay, so what are all the drawbacks or maybe what are all the bugs you have. So all these things will be reported by the customer now. Okay, so as you can see, there is no way back in this particular model. So once the communication phase is crossed to the planning phase, you cannot go back and change your requirement. Okay, so that is the problem here. For example, in the design, you have designed the requirement based on the document first given. Okay, so if you want to change something in the requirement, so there is no meaning at all, because nobody will go back to your requirement stage. Okay, so that is the main problem with this waterfall model. Okay, if you have any doubts or queries, please stop me right there, students. Okay, so now moving towards the next step. So incremental process model. Okay, so before going into the incremental process model, as I told you, there is a process model. This waterfall model is a kind of evolutionary process model, as I told you. So it is like you are growing, right? So you are like a building, like it evolves, right? So once the communication phase is done, you are going for a planning phase, and then modeling, and then construction, and then deployment. So it is like a evolution. Okay, so this is called as evolutionary type of model. Okay, so there is another concept called iterative type. Okay, so we will see. Okay, so I will tell you what is iterative types. Okay, so in the iterative type, you have this incremental process model. Okay, so most of the models we will see after this will comes under iterative models. Okay, so iterative model is nothing but, so you do this set of actions here, right? So communication, planning, modeling, construction, and deployment. So in the waterfall model, you will do all these things only once. Okay, so communication will be done only once, planning will be done only once, modeling once, construction once, deployment once. Okay, so in iterative model, okay, so since the people has, okay, they have come to a conclusion that, okay, whenever we follow a waterfall model, so there is no provision to update anything in any of the phases. Okay, so and hence they have proposed the other type. Okay, so the same process they will follow in a different timeline. Okay, so assume, okay, anyway, we will see that in accordance with this particular incremental process model. Okay, so as the name defines, it is going to be incremental process model. So incremental in the sense, so any guess? Any guess? Any volunteer? Any volunteer? So when we say it to be an increment, incremental. Nobody wants to try.
The development and testing is done parallelly, sir.
Okay, it was a nice guess, but it is not so. Okay, so I will tell you. So generally I'm asking, so what is increment? You might have used the word in the loops, right? So what is increment?
A gradual increase, step by step increase.
Okay, so okay, so you are nearing the answer, but it is not exactly what it is meant to be an increment. Okay, so when you say increment, you will add something to the current system. Okay, so similarly, when you say decrement, you will remove something from the current system. Okay, so here the incremental process model refers to, you will add some functionalities to the system, current system. Okay, so here incremental process model will say, okay, so okay, one iteration is done. So anyway, there is a figure. I will show you how it works. Okay, a compelling need to provide a limited set of software functionalities to users quickly and then refine and expand on the functionalities in the later software releases. Okay, so now I will tell you. Okay, so there is a requirement. If I'm asking you, so you should build an application. Okay, so which can be used for evaluating all your exams. Okay, so assume that there is I need a tool where I can conduct exams. Okay, so if I say you that statement, so first what you will do, first you will create the minimal functionality, okay, or the core functionality. Okay, so for example, first conducting exam, so that phase you will first complete. Okay, so that is the core functionality, and then you will spend your time on the refinements of that particular system, right? So first you will build the core functionality, and then you will start building, or you will start refining that core functionality by adding some add-ons, or maybe by adding some stuffs, right? So that is how an incremental process model works. Okay, so first phase they will rush through, or quickly they will build the core product. Okay, and then that is the first iteration. In the first iteration they will build the core product. The core product refers to the product that is having a minimal functionality, I mean the core functionality. Okay, and then so the iteration 1 is done. So then the iteration 2, in the iteration 2 they will try to, okay, so they will try to adopt something, or maybe they will try to upgrade something, or they will try to add on, or something like that. Okay, so in iteration 2, in iteration 3 again the same thing. Okay, so one functionality has been added, for example conducting online exam, so core functionality, so that is conducting online exam. Okay, now that is ready. Okay, so you have provided a platform where a student can write and a teacher can host the question paper. Okay, so all these things is now ready. So in the second increment, what you will do, so you will add a functionality where you can the student should enable videos. Okay, so that is actually an add-on to your online conducting functionality. Okay, so now in the increment 2 you have added that. In the increment 3 you are adding one more functionality by saying that your browser will be locked. Okay, so like this in each increment the product will get updated. Okay, so that is why it is called as incremental process model. Okay, so a process model that is designed to produce a software in increments. Okay, so is chosen. So incremental model so combines the elements of the waterfall model applied in an iterative fashion. So this is the place I told you. Okay, so this figure when you see, so probably you will get a better understanding about how this particular model works. Okay, so as you can see here, yes, let me take the laser pointer. Okay, so as you can see here, so this is increment 1. So at the outset of the increment 1, okay, so you will have your core product. Okay, so that is the core functionality as I told you. So in each boxes here represents your phases of waterfall model. So communication phase, planning phase, modeling phase, construction, and then deployment. Okay, so all these things will come in a one increment. Okay, so the difference between the incremental model and your waterfall model is that, so in your waterfall model only once you will do all these things. Okay, but when it comes to incremental model, so you will do all the steps in each increment. Okay, so in increment 1 you will develop something. Okay, so you will actually build a core product, and you will provide the updates to your core product. You will add some functionalities in your second increment. Okay, so now what is the benefit towards this particular increments? Okay, so one benefit, as I told you, if you forget to mention something in the requirements, okay, so probably you can add that requirements in your second iteration. Okay, in your second increment, so that is possible. That is a bigger advantage. And one more bigger advantage is that, so first increment, so all you can see is your minimal working product. Okay, so that can be achieved in a very fast time. Okay, so for example the Teams, so Teams application, so assume that the Teams application was not a matured application when we started working. Okay, so at the time, so there is only one functionality that online classes can be conducted. Apart from that, no add-ons were there when we start using the Teams. Okay, so during this timeline, you can see many updates has been received. Okay, so similar to that, you will have your core functionalities developed in each increments. Okay, so this is how this works. Okay, so coming back, so as I told you, it combines the elements of waterfall model applied in an iterative fashion. Okay, so and then so applies linear sequences in a staggered fashion as calendar time progresses. So each linear sequences produces deliverable increments of the software. The same thing we have seen over there in the figure. Okay, so as I told you, so in each increment, okay, so this is going to be like a linear sequence. Okay, so this will happen. So provided that once the increment 1 is done, so you will go for the increment 2. Okay, so before the end of increment 1, you cannot start the increment 2. Okay, so like that you will have your own restrictions and specifications. So process flow for any increment may incorporate the prototype model. Okay, so it is purely dependent on the process flow, how it flows through. Okay. Okay, fine. So now coming back. So as you can see here, one thing is that, so as I told you, so the increment 1 and the increment 2. Okay, so you have provided something in the increment 1. Okay, and the increment 1 probably assume that now they are in the construction phase. Okay, so at that time, if you want to add some requirements to the in the communication phase, as I told you, you have the flexibility to do that. Okay, so that is why you can specify your requirements in your communication phase. Okay, so that can be done. Okay, so that is the as I told you, project calendar time. So at the outset of this particular product delivery, okay, so this delivery, before this delivery, so you can change your, or you, if you want to have, or if you want to add something to your requirements document, that is always possible. Okay, but provided that your design or the other components of your constructed softwares can be done only after its delivery. So okay, so that is the core aspect to be noted here. Okay, so apart from that, so customer uses the product, as a result uses the product, so the customer will start using this particular product. Okay, so the core product, as a result of use and evaluation, a plan is developed for the next increment. So that is what I told you. Okay, so you can either, okay, so if you have in the increment 1, so probably you will give only the core functionality. Okay, so even there are some pending tasks in your original requirements document, so like an updates, or you are going to refine the GUI part, or you are going to provide an additional features. Okay, so all these things in your original requirements are still pending. So at the time, you will immediately start your increment 2. Okay, so you will not wait for your customers to get used to the project and then they have to come up with. Okay, so assume that now you are in the iteration number 64 or 74. Okay, so in that context, so almost you might have you might have delivered most of the promising facts that were in the requirements. Okay, so at that time, so based on the customer's usage, so you will try to add something or you will try to remove something from your requirements. Okay, so that is how it is mentioned here. Okay, so the plan addresses the modification of the core product to better meet the needs of customers and the delivery of additional features and functionalities. Okay, so I have told you these aspects, as I told you. So the same concept. Okay, so based on the customer use of the software. Okay, so in each increment you will have a working software. Okay, but only the difference is the functionalities might be minimal. Okay. Okay, fine. So the main aspect here, so that needs to be considered are, so first thing, so you in waterfall model, so as I told you, there is no way back. So you cannot go back. Okay, so once the communication phase is over, so all you can see the product only in the deployment phase. Once in the deployment phase, so there are very minimal chances for refinements. Okay, so that too, so that comes under your support team. Okay, so support, or maybe if there is a bug that needs an critical attention, so probably you will address that bug. Okay, so only those things are possible. There is no concept of reworking in your design, or maybe in the model, or maybe in your requirements. Okay, so in the other phase, but in this incremental model, okay, so you have a flexibility that even though you follow a sequential phase, okay, so when you start an increment 1, no problem. So all the phases will go on. Okay, so in your increment 2, you have a chance to change something in your design or model or whatever it is. Okay, so that is the main advantage with this incremental approach. Okay, so as I told you, so here, so the process is getting evolved through iterations. So this is iteration 1, that is increment 1, iteration 2, that is increment 2, and then iteration n. You have to go for n iterations so that you can achieve a product. Okay, so and that is the reason this process can be called as iterative process model. Okay. Okay, so with that note, so how long we have? So I think we can stop for the day. So tomorrow we can see the same thing, same aspect. Okay, so this is the RAD model also comes under your iterative model. Okay, so with that note, yeah, let me stop recording. Any doubts, students?